Ugh. So many things. Please.
What is up? It is Wednesday.
Blaze, how we?
The bus driver. We're doing well. The bus driver reminded me it's hump day. So happy hump day to you and David and everyone else. What is up?
We got Mr. David here in the chat. Welcome, welcome on the couch. Blaze, how was your sleep last night?
It was pretty good. Somebody tried a blue screen in my room when I was asleep. And so
What does that mean?
Somebody was on their phone in my room last night when I was already asleep. And so I'm kind of like a bear when I wake up. So I was like, you woke me up, believe me. So I went,
I'm the same way. I didn't know that you were like that. We're so similar.
Yeah. And so I went and I slept in my son's bed because he was in my bed. And I slept good. I went to yoga this morning. It was my first yoga of the week. And it's always hard dragging my feet. But it was good. So I'm zenned out. And I'm here. And I'm happy to be here. How about you? How'd you sleep?
My sleep was, I kind of I fell asleep a little bit early yesterday. Didn't get as many steps in. And that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. And it's okay. And what was I going to say? Oh, I woke up grumpy because I got woken up the other day. I was taking a nap, great nap. I don't take many naps. And when I do take a nap, I'm really happy about it. And my daughter woke me up she was playing the ukulele in my face. And I've never had to control my anger as much as I did in that moment. And I was like, why are you playing? Because she wasn't really playing the ukulele. She was just like basically strumming and banging on the ukulele in my face. So
she's not like Brother Is.
Wait, hold on. My answer's gonna be like, yeah, she's not that good. But wait, what were you at? What does that mean? Tell me more.
So if you guys don't know, when I was 16, I moved to Hawaii to live with my aunt. I was supposed to stay there for a year, but she kicked me out. But I learned a lot about Hawaiian culture, and Brother Is he was this Hawaiian bigger guy that played the ukulele, and so he has one of the best renditions of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So if you don't know, type in IZ into Spotify and listen to Somewhere Over the Rainbow today. And so, because if you woke up to that, I feel like you'd have like a great day, but it doesn't sound like your daughter is at that level yet to serenade you.
Yeah, definitely not. Man, thank you so much for explaining that in such a great way.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're great. But yeah, so anyway, sleep was okay. It was okay. And if we have enough time, maybe we'll pull up a little YouTube and we'll look at Is. We got the wrong brand over here. We got so many things happening on this side, Blaze. Gratitude, though. What are you grateful for?
Today, we start with some trivia.
Wait, say it again. Trivia?
Can we do some trivia?
Yes, yeah, I'm totally here. Please.
So if you guys don't know, my 6-year-old started lacrosse this year, and I have to bribe him to go to every practice with a Mario stuffed animal. But if that's the buy-in right now to get my son to move his body and participate in lacrosse, I'm okay with it. But today I had to take this he gave it to me because he didn't want to take it on the bus, but this is his new friend. Do you know who this is?
I don't think I do know who that is. Who is it?
On my couch. This from Martha's. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. His name's the Wiggler. So this is the Wiggler from Mario, and there you go.
Wait, that's from Mario? Wait, is it? Wait, it's like a newer Mario?
I mean, I think he first came out in Super Nintendo Mario. I mean, I could be wrong, but he's the Wiggler. He jump on the little parts of his body, and sometimes he gets mad and runs around. He has these little boots.
Okay.
So he's the Wiggler.
Right.
But that's my gratitude today, is just my 6-year-old son keeping it fun with Mario and lacrosse.
How is lacrosse going?
I think it's getting better every practice.
Where can the couch help on anything going on with lacrosse? Or do we think lacrosse is just going really well?
I would love to just hear from the couch what you have to do to motivate your kids to do stuff that they don't really want to do that you know they should do. Do you have to tempt them with ice cream? Do you have to buy them Mario stuffed animals? Do you have to buy them ice cream sandwiches? Do you have to... Sometimes I have to let my son throw lacrosse balls at me to get him motivated to go to lacrosse. So those are some of the things that I have to do. So I'm curious, what do you all have to do to motivate your kids to do stuff?
Imagine by the end of the season, you have all these bruises all over you, and someone's like, Blaze, what's going on? Or someone knows the issue, and they're like, oh, Blaze is covered in bruises. It must be the end of the lacrosse season.
Well, I was covering my face and my other parts of my body when he was trying to throw it at me the other day.
Yeah.
He's like, put your hands down. I'm like, no, I'm not putting my hands down.
Would you say that his motivation is very much contingent on the amount of pain that he inflicts on you?
He's all about winning, and he doesn't understand you have to practice to get better. So he has a lot of negative self-talk right now that's like, I'm not good at lacrosse. I'm like, bro, you just started. So I try to take it back to remember Mario, remember drawing, remember talking, remember going to the potty, remember anything that you've ever had to work at to get better at. That's lacrosse too. You can't be the best on day one.
Yeah, I hear you. If anyone on the couch has, I think it's a good conversation, because it's obviously going to change for every single kid. I know that Dylan over here is saying stickers, tattoos, minis, maybe some non-food motivated kind of things. Blaze, I think, is doing an amazing job with the idea of finding out that his kid needs to get really active and throw things at him that way. I think that that's pretty cool too. I had shared with Blaze the idea of I was putting myself in your son's shoes, and I was saying I would have been a lot more I played a lot of soccer growing up, but I know that I probably would have been more into some skill-based things or focusing on it if I watched soccer more, and I didn't, because I did not like watching sports when I was younger. And so I would have loved if someone took me to more professional soccer games. You know that I definitely love to make logos sometimes and branding and stuff like that too. So I was like, hey, you know what? There's professional lacrosse leagues. Maybe your son, who likes dinosaurs and all this kind of stuff too, might actually enjoy, seeing the lizards or some of the professional lacrosse teams and kind of get involved that way. So that was my idea. I don't know if it was good or not, but
no, I think it's great. But from the other end of the spectrum, my daughter was a feet dragger last season. And this season, she's like, Dad, I have a game on Sunday. I want to go. Make sure you RSVP. And I'm like, oh, all right. You're in it to win it right now. Let's continue to stoke that fire.
Do you think she just has she has a little bit more of a competitive spirit?
I think that she's a lot more comfortable with the stick in her hand now. And she went to lacrosse camp this summer. And I think that gave her a little bit of edge. I don't know about over her teammates, but it just, I think, gave her a different perspective for lacrosse, and she's enjoying it a lot more.
Okay, got it. Did Heather play lacrosse? Wait, you played lacrosse, right? No.
Yes. I played football and I did track one year. Heather played lacrosse. She didn't. I don't know if she did it because she had a crush on a boy and a boy played lacrosse, or she said she had some ulterior motive, but she did play lacrosse. I don't know how many years, but she said she did.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, cool. What are some of the other sports that your kids are playing right now? I know that my kids, it's dance, jazz. Recently, Lauren has always been someone who liked, she did cheer and she did dance and ballet and all that kind of stuff. And so kind of following that direction. And they're loving it right now. They're not really doing an organized sport in terms of like the traditional, lacrosse or basketball or anything like that. But I'm curious. I think my youngest is going to be someone who's going to love to kind of go fight some people. So we'll see what happens with her. But yeah, what are the sports you guys are playing? I know my brother's over here. My brother's been teaching soccer for a bit right now, but we got martial arts, we got hockey, we got soccer. Extremely busy this time of year, I'm sure. Yeah, it's a lot of money too. My goodness, equipment.
Yeah.
So much. But I think it kind of goes into a little bit of what the meditation was today. Did you end up getting to listen today, Blaze?
Oh yeah, if I'm saying it correctly, it's making sure that your kids hang out with old people. Sorry, heartburn. And I think it was great. And so, what it has me thinking about is all my grandparents were gone by the time I was in second grade. And so I think about what a blessing it is for my kids to still have all four grandparents. And my parents are just moved to Rochester, New York, so they're going to get to see them a lot more. But then they talked about your kids being around older people as well that aren't your family. So that has me thinking, how can I expose them more to older people? Like, do we visit a nursing home? Do we do a soup kitchen? Do we go to bingo night? I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, I think that's because I've always heard that it has been helpful to kind of hang around older people and kind of get some perspective on certain things. I like the meditation because the meditation was talking a lot about today about like who are you actually hanging out with, and most people were hanging around people our age. Most of us are within at least a band of the same age right now. But I think that what I love about our community right now is that a lot of us really do. Um, a lot of us really do have different experiences. Some of us are a little bit older or younger. Some of us has more or less kids, but there is a diversity somewhat here. Now, we are not the most diverse community right now. If you look at different things around race, and obviously we're more around dads, but we're all V dads. We have a good OG in here. Anne is always popping in, which is always great too. So we always want that perspective, and I think that's what it was. It's just all about how can we, or how can our kids get a different perspective and hang out with some older people. And so I was thinking about Blaze today, as he's mentioning getting his son excited. I think keeping your son, Blaze, within the same group of people, or looking at the same team. I think looking and seeing like what could he be if he, like, when he gets older, seeing older people play, seeing people who have gone through what he's gone through. I think that can definitely be good too. Or I love the perspective of seeing Dom when Dom's up here, or when David is sharing, or even when my brother is sharing, and knowing kind of where I could definitely go, seeing what older kids are going to be getting into. It's just extremely helpful, and I think it just helps us figure out a few answers for that, the questions that we have right now and the struggles that we end up having too. I hate this big sticker here in the middle of the screen, by the way. So the other thing too, I know that I was recently looking at something, and I've seen it before, is that grandparents or older individuals that are hanging around younger kids, especially their grandkids, they actually extend their life, which was kind of an amazing thing. But there's such a huge benefit of putting our kids with older individuals and older individuals with kids. And so we can do that more often. And I don't know why we're not hiring more elderly individuals that obviously aren't having many health issues to take care of these younger kids. I don't know. Has anyone thought of that? Taking daycare and bringing it into the old folks' home and seeing if they're going to like that? I'm sure that there's a lot of liability there, but.
Well, when we had Brody for his, because he didn't come home until he was 3 months old, and then I think at like 4 or 5 months that we got a nanny, and she was like 70, and she was She was an older person, and she was great.
Your nanny was 70?
I don't, between 68 and 72, something like that.
Do you think that it's do you think that I wonder if the idea of being like forced together that way, and like, obviously you're getting your nanny, you're paying your nanny to kind of come in there, but I wonder if there's more of a benefit of like these like people kind of like being together in some sort of less contractual way. There has to be, right? Because you're kind of having a little more fun maybe. But
I read an article a couple of years ago, and I'm not sure that I could find it. There was some town that was like, instead of adoptive parents, they had a community of adoptive grandparents where, like, maybe I'm a transplant from New York to South Dakota and I don't have any family in town. And there was some, like, an older couple that didn't have family in town or something like that either. And they created a relationship where they became the grandparents for somebody else. Because,
yeah,
like, that's like, it's really hard to find babysitters now. And I think that, like, grandparents, some are more willing than others to, like, help watch kids and everything.
yeah.
Um, so I thought that was, like, really interesting um, program that they had set up.
How would you wait? So your parents just moved closer to you. Is that all good? They're all closed and they're moved in.
They're supposed to close on their house in the next, like, 2 weeks or something like that.
Do you think that they're going to be hanging around your kids a lot more?
Oh yeah, they already are. Yep.
Okay, so that's going to work for you guys. Is that going to be less time with a nanny or no?
I think the same, but, like, again, like, Heather goes out of town a lot, so, like, Heather's going out of town today. She's going to Brussels, and
Goodness.
so
All over the
my mom,
place.
yeah, so my mom is gonna probably come and stay with us a couple of days because, again, like, our nanny can only work or 45 hours a week, so she can't, like, it's not like she's with the kids 24/7 or anything like that.
Okay, okay. Well, all right. Old people hanging out with young people hanging out with old people. Um, I think about my kids and just you know what I'm thinking about more right now is like the overall diversity. And I'm really grateful that my kids right now, they're in a more diverse school. And what's crazy to me is that like in New York, that your kids can go to like so many different schools, at least in like here in the city. And my kids were placed in a school that is a lot more diverse, but just like 2 blocks away, there's another school where a lot of kids in the neighborhood go to. And it is like extremely not diverse whatsoever. And I am just thinking about how that diversity has definitely had them, like, it's amazing watching interactions with my kids when they go into certain scenarios, and the kids that I know that aren't going to these more diverse schools being in the same scenario and how they're acting with like the crowds around them. But I think that my kids might not know, or maybe they do, how to act around different age groups. And I think like if they brought them into an old folks home, like that would be really, I keep saying old folks home, retirement community, whatever's going on. But it would be really good to see. I think I'd like to do that. I don't know how to do it. I don't know. You mentioned like a soup kitchen, or you mentioned something like that. I don't know what I would do there. How it would happen though.
The other thing that I think about, and I really need to pull the trigger on it, is having, like, the neighborhood over, because we live in, like, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but an inlet, and there's 3 different cul-de-sacs in our, like, street. And so I think we need to do, like, donuts and coffee. There's, like, older people that live in our neighborhood. For you, what I think about, like, is there older people that live in your building? Do your kids interact with those older people
Hmm.
if they do live in your building?
All right. This is why I need you in my life, because there is. We actually have a neighbor who is a little bit of a recluse, and she is like, um, actually, my wife called for a care check one time, whatever it's called, because she thought she died. And so the police showed up and
Oh,
broke down her door, and she was just laying in bed. And she was like, "I'm feeling really sick right now," and that was it. But like, really, the reason why, I guess there's more to this story. but it's making me think that maybe my kids can definitely interact with her a little bit more. I think that would be really cool. I think it'd be good for her, and I think for my kids too, just to kind of see that kind of thing. And we're not taking advantage of that. So thank you for that. I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to make that happen by the end of the year, because I think that we're getting to holidays, so it'd be good for them to interact with her that way. Got it. Okay.
Can I ask a question with that scenario, and hopefully you don't feel like I'm putting you in the spot? Did the neighbor find that endearing that someone cared for her, or was she upset that somebody broke down her door?
I don't think anyone knows. No one's going to know her. The reason why the building got
first day listening.
The reason that there was a care check called on this neighbor was because of the smell that was coming through the door. And so people thought she had died and that her body was rotting inside. And I'm saying that because that's what people were saying. And so it was really upsetting, because everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, and it's not unheard of. It's actually happened in our building before. And like the cops show up and like, oh yeah, we get like at least one of these calls a week. And so we're like, oh, well, this lady is definitely dead. Like, it smells like she's dead. And so the cops come, they're knocking on the door. She doesn't answer the door. So the cops break down the door, and she's just laying in bed. But like, she was like, I've just been really sick, and hasn't been able to take care of herself. And so that was a lot of the smell that was coming through. But she also has cats. And so like the cats, like she wasn't able to clean up after the cats. And so it was this like really crazy scenario, which is like not a normal thing for the people in our building. Like, that's not someone that's normally in our building that would kind of like have that type of issue, which is I think why we can get more involved with her. But we don't know if she was embarrassed, but basically the cops had to be like, hey, I just want you to know, I know we broke down your door, but like, just know that your building cares about you, as they're like pulling the door closed and like putting the pieces back together. And then, but this was the bigger issue, is that the management company was there when they broke down the door. And like, as the cops were like, well, people really care about you, and like closing the door, the lady's coming through from management with like a candle to like stop the smell, and like putting it next to her door. And all of us were like, oh my God, like it had to be a pretty crazy scenario. And I felt really bad. I wasn't there, but I was hearing about it. And like, imagine if you had to take into your mind, like, people called the cops because they thought I was dead. Like, that's a crazy scenario.
That's wild.
I don't know if I should get my girls involved.
Huh. I'm just like thinking. I'm just thinking about, am I going to be in that situation someday where someone's going to call the cops on me because they think I'm dead? I don't know.
I hope not. I will not let that happen.
Well, I mean, you're like 5 years older than me. I think who knows who's going to go first, you know?
Wow. Took a doctor.
Anyways, let your kids hang out with old people. I also think of like, you know, you don't want creepers hanging out with your kids either. So, but I think that we really, or at least me, and I think other people too, we really have to like open ourselves up. Like, not every old person or person you don't know is a predator, but then you have all this like P. Diddy stuff in the news, and just a lot. It's a lot to take in, and you need to protect your kids too. So it's hard.
Good job, man. Thanks for that. Thanks for backtracking and backpedaling on my death. I really have to keep us honest. Hey, Ann, wait, hold on, Ann. I have a question. Ann, do you happen to know sign language? I'm curious.
Oh, no.
Because we talked about sign language yesterday. Now I'm getting the sense that Blaze did not study anything or try and find out a new sign language move a tiny bit. And I want you to start coming on. Blaze just went off camera as he's searching for a sign language, a word to say in sign language right now. But he's going to come back. He's going to know something, and that's going to be good. But maybe we need Ann to come on and teach us a little bit of sign language from now on. Now, I don't know sign language, but we talked about it yesterday because we talked about just like learning new things. And so sign language was going to be one of those. Dom is not here right now because Dom got scared off from learning sign language himself. and he's not here to defend himself. So I'm going to say he's incapable of learning sign language. That's what he told me. So if he wants to prove me wrong, then he'll have to come back and show us that he knows sign language. But until then, I'm going to let you guys know that there's simple things you guys could have studied. What is your word in sign language that you're going to share with us? I sent you a video. Hey, to look at.
I'm getting into character. Leave me alone. Hey, how do you drive a car? Hey, Blaze, how do you drive a car?
Nice. All right. Well,
I'm steering. This is steering. I need to position myself. I'm too big. Good. This is steering. This is steering inside.
All right. Well, we're all smarter with one more word. I was going to do something a little bit easier and just say thank you, right? Thank you. This is thank you in sign language. As far as I know, if someone wants to tell me I'm wrong, thank you. My daughter taught me cookie. Cookie? Is this cookie recently? I think that was cookie. And thank you. Thank you for the cookie. Thank you for the cookie. I think so. I don't know if that's it. And I want to make sure you can come on and teach us some things. That'd be great.
But I wanted to say Anne had an awesome show right now. If you didn't get to see it or buy in, you missed out. I got a package. I didn't see it ripped, but I'm sure it's awesome, and I can't wait to have it in my hands.
I heard it was great too. All right. We are at time. Anything else? You sign us off. Sign us off, please.
It's Wednesday. I'm trying to think if there's any announcements. B-Friends show comes out on Monday. We're going to do a space. It's going to be great. Hopefully. And there's all these geese next to me. Anyways, mugs of coffee, hearts of gratitude. Everybody have this. Oh, MP shared this with me yesterday. Inside Out 2 comes out to Disney streaming service today. So if you have that, watch it with your kids, and we'll have another conversation about it soon too.
Awesome.